I remember in 1963, I had small Mary and we were sitting in a lounge room in a house in Pacific afternoon about 3 or 4 o'clock, and I was watching TV, and your small 2 years old walking around, and Mary was a small baby just sitting on a floor, and they said breaking news, JF Kennedy was shot dead. Instant, I never forgot that where I was and how I was shocked, because that was something terrible.
I do, but I don't. Vaguely. No, not clearly. It was a shocking time.
I remember the Friday, the 22nd of November 1963. I was in year 11 at Tumut High School, and we were having a history lesson in the smallest classroom in the school, and there was about 10 of us in this really tiny classroom, and our history teacher, Mr. Giddings, had gone out into the staff room, which was next door, and he came back in with the news. And it was really important to us because we were history students, and we were really, really shocked, and most of us couldn't talk to each other because we didn't believe it had happened. And I remember that morning going down from Batlow on the old rattle-trap rickety bus with the broken windows, and it was a pretty normal day at school. We'd had English with Mr. Bray, and we'd had biology with Mr. Bonner, and we'd had maths with Mr. Norman, and this was just terrible for us in this tiny classroom listening to the news. I remember being absolutely shocked and stunned and surprised and angry in disbelief, and we were looking at each other. We couldn't really talk to each other, and we had all admired JFK for what he'd been doing, and he was such a great leader. And I was really curious about what had actually happened, but of course we didn't have the answers, and we didn't know at that stage about what had gone on that particular day.
Saturday, November the 23rd, 1963. I was 9.5 years old at the time. I remember walking with my mother from home several hundred metres down the road to the end of our street where the Brighton railway station was. We were heading up to Adelaide City to attend, I'm pretty sure it was the annual John Martin's Christmas pageant. John Martin's was a department store in Adelaide. Each year they put on a Christmas pageant which heralded the arrival of Santa Claus into Adelaide to his residence at the Magic Cave in John Martin's department store. On arriving at the railway station, I remember my mother talking at length to the ticket master, who was a friend of ours, a friend of the family, talking to him in an agitated way, and it was after she had collected the tickets that I asked her what was she talking about, and she informed me that the ticket master told her that the President of the United States had died. It wasn't until we got home later that day that we heard the details of the assassination on the radio. I don't recall anything about the Christmas pageant itself, but I do recall vividly hearing that the President of the United States had died.
I thought it was when I was at school, because I thought I saw a newspaper headline at school, but in 1963 I wasn't at school, I was at uni, my first year at uni. So, and December, you wouldn't have been at uni in December. So I just can't remember. I just can't remember what I was doing on that day. I'm afraid I just can't remember.
Anytime. I remember it was 1963 and I was in year 5 at St Augustine's Catholic school in Balmain down near Gladstone Park, and I used to walk to school, which was a 1 kilometre walk approximately. Walk to school, and on the way I'd pick up my friend Marie, who lived in Curtis Road, who lived about 5 minutes from my place, and I'd drop into her place and we'd walk the rest of the way to school. And this particular day I knocked on her door and she didn't have it on the TV, but she had it on the radio that JFK had died. And I remember being really shocked because he was just somebody that we all looked up to. I mean, I didn't really know much about politics at that time, but I seemed to be pretty impressed by his public speaking. And yeah, we walked down to school and we were really shocked. So for kids who are, 9 or 10 years old, it really affected us in a big way, and we spoke to our teacher when we got to school about it, and all the kids knew about it when we got to school. So I think it must have been during the week, I'm pretty sure, and we all just stopped our normal lessons, and we did have a TV, so I would have watched the replay when I got home. We only had black and white at that stage. But I do know that it did have a big impact on myself and all the other kids in my class.